Hey my glam girls, welcome back to my channel. It's Chelsea, where we talk about all things glam and all things girly. I'm a beauty enthusiast and consultant who loves to talk about everything dealing with beauty and makeup, and today we are talking about August favorites. And I don't have too much here today, but I have got some good things, some new and some old holy grails. So I cannot wait to share that with you all. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I truly do appreciate it. And let's get right into this video. Okay, so before we get into it, everything that I have on my face will be linked down below. I'm not wearing all of my favorites on my face today because I had to create a particular video earlier, but some of the products I am wearing today, so I will mention them as we go along. Okay, first, let's start off with a little bit of like a skincare tinted hybrid. So Chantecaille was so kind and they sent me their new tinted creams. I will say that. Tinted creams. So the first one that they sent me was the anti-aging face tint. I created a reels and I did post it here on YouTube as well as Instagram and TikTok as in addition to those platforms of me comparing these two. So the anti-aging face tint is going to be like a bronzy tint. It's going to blur the skin. It's gonna have amazing botanicals in it to plump the skin, hydrate the skin, and nourish the skin. And so when applied to my skin, this looks more so, or I should say how I like to use it, I'll say it like that. You can apply this all over the face if you want to like a nice like lit from within glow, or you can just wear it by itself. I prefer to wear this under makeup because on its own, initially, it does look like a smidge too light for my skin, so it eventually will sink in and blend into the skin, but I prefer to wear this one if I want to wear like a foundation on top that's maybe a little more mattified, but I want like a nice lit from within glow. It has a gel-like formula, so it's not going to be overly dewy or anything like that, but it doesn't also feel dry on the skin. The other one that they sent is their Sheer Glow Face Tint. Now this is my favorite out of the two. This one I thought was not going to, well, I didn't know how this was gonna look on my skin because it's got that pinky pearlescence, and I was like, this is either gonna look like almost a little too stark on the skin, or it's gonna blend in great, and it blends in beautifully. So I'll show what it looks like blended into my hand. The dewiness and the radiance from this like took my breath away. Like when I put it on my face, I was like, where'd they do that at? Oh my goodness. This one is going to add, this one is claiming to give more of like that glow and radiance from this product, but it has in it anti-aging benefits in it, botanicals and things like that. I'll show you what the anti-aging looks like on the back of this hand. You really can't go wrong with either one because in terms of formulation, they both are formulated with very similar ingredients in terms of, you know, ingredients that are going to be great for the skin. And they both do leave like a nice glow on the skin. The sheer rose one just leaves more of one. And you can see now on the back of my hand, it kind of looks, you know, a little light. Chantecaille made the tinted one, the anti-aging tint one. She made that to give the skin like a bronzy-like look. So if you do have a lighter complexion, you might get that bronze look on the skin, but you know, it doesn't look like that on my skin, so I just wanted to point that out to you all. So, really enjoying both of those products. Thank you so much to Chantecaille for sending them to me, because I've been loving them. Okay, then Fenty came out with their Each Droplet All Over Glow Enhancer. I picked up the shade called Honey Citrine. I like this. So, remember earlier this year, was it this year or last year, Fenty came out with like those liquid highlighters, and I thought the liquid highlighters were going to be what this actually is. They had too much glitter chunks in it, and I ended up giving it to my niece because I was just like, I like it, but it's too glittery for me because I want to wear it all over the face. So this, when you blend it into the skin, gives you that lit from within glow. There is no glitter chunks in it. It literally just blends into the skin effortlessly. I feel like I need to put on more so you can see. I like to wear this under really any foundation, but I paired this with the Ease Drop foundation that they came out with last year. Oh, and it's so nice because that one has more of like a natural finish. So this would look beautiful under any type of foundation or just on the skin alone. But if you wanted to pair it with a more natural type finish, tinted moisturizer or a matte finish type of foundation, if you want kind of that lit from within glow, oh, this is so, so pretty. And it does dry down, doesn't feel like sticky and tacky on the hands and on the skin. It's just a really beautiful formula. I think this comes in like 4 or 5 shades. I really like this. I'm glad I picked it up. Okay, so Sephora collection came out with a concealer, the Best Skin Ever concealer, and I was able to try, because I had never picked it up, the Best Skin Ever foundation. So when I saw the concealer, I was so excited about it because I had heard amazing things about the foundation, but I had never picked it up. I don't know why. So I picked up both. I got the shade 33.5Y in the foundation, and in the concealer 33N. Sephora collection knows what they're doing. So the foundation, I'll talk about that first. Light to medium coverage, sits so beautiful on the skin. I would say it has like a natural satin finish, and it's like your skin but better in a bottle. Hence the name Best Skin Ever. I completely see why people love it. It does have very good lasting power on the face, and it just feels like skin. You know, you can build it up for a more medium coverage, but it doesn't feel heavy and cakey, doesn't look oily and dewy or anything like that on the face that would be like unattractive dewy, I'll say that. This is a beautiful foundation. So glad that I finally picked it up, because I was like, I see where the hype is. I see now where the hype is. And then for the concealer, so the concealer is more full coverage, so it's gonna have more coverage than the foundation. And the concealer is also very lightweight, very long lasting. I set this concealer, but I think if you have like dry skin, I don't think you're gonna really need to set this concealer. It doesn't have necessarily a self-setting property in it, but it doesn't crease a lot. So if you do have drier skin, doesn't really crease too much under your eyes or things like that, you probably wouldn't have to set this. I do set it just to like give myself a smoother look, but I don't feel like you would have to set this if you have like I said, more dry skin. Such a beautiful formula. And this is a concealer. I mean, you could, you know, with maybe any concealer, you can do this, but this is definitely a concealer that you can use all over the face. You could use it as a foundation, spot conceal, you know, brighten under eye. Like, this formula really is one of those formulas that is multi-use. So I really enjoy it. It's $15, but very much a high-end type of formula. Powder. So Laura Mercier came out with this powder a while ago, but I wasn't able to showcase it on my channel, I think until August or maybe late July. And I really enjoy this powder. So this is the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Ultra Blur Setting Powder. I have the shade Translucent Honey, and this is beautiful. So this is going to really blur the skin. And if you're asking like, what is the difference between this one and her normal setting powder? The difference is basically the blurring properties that are going to be in this powder. So and also it is not as matte and dry as the original formula, because I don't like the original formula because it gets just too matte and dry on my skin. And even if I use a small amount of it, I still feel like, this just looks, I don't really like how this is looking on my skin. So, because I have more normal skin, if you don't know. So for this one though, the formula is going to definitely blur the skin, but I feel like it's not as dry, it's not as mattified. And I heard someone else who had dry skin say the same thing, like, I like this formula because it's not as dry. So it does mattify the skin, don't get me wrong. It's not gonna be a luminous type of powder. It just doesn't look as dry on the skin, which I like. And it blurs. This is a beautiful, beautiful powder. So very happy that I was finally able to get around to showing it to you all. And I have used this a good amount, and I do still tend to reach for it, just depending on what look I'm going for. My like hands down holy grail powder right now, if you don't even know at this point, you probably know if you watch my videos. Jaclyn Cosmetics X Robin. This is the Powder Move Loose Setting Powder. I can't tell y'all enough how much I love it. I'm just gonna say this and be done with it. I wear the shade Sheer Medium. My makeup is not complete without it. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not wearing it today because I did another video, like I said. But literally, unless I'm doing a designated look, I always use that powder to set my face. Okay, moving on. There's one eyeshadow palette that stood out to me that I didn't get to use a lot, but ma'am, Mother Pat and this Mothership 10. So this one, you know, was definitely a different take on her traditional Mothership palettes. And I say a different take because of the newer formulation of her special shades. And I say newer formulation, not because she's completely changing her special shade formulas to this, but this is just different than the special shade formula that she has in her other Mothership palettes. I really enjoy this for your everyday looks, but then also for those looks that you're like, okay, I want to step it up from everyday, but I want a little pop, I want a little jazz it up, but I don't want to do too much. I put a little asterisk next to it because I say I'm not doing too much and then I be doing the most, okay? But I love it. I love the tones of this palette too. Very neutral tones. You've got some warmer tones, some cooler tones, but these shades right here are just so pretty. Like yesterday, I did a look and I was like, I just want to do a little something on the eyes. And so I took this shade right here and I just dabbed it all over my eyes. And it was just so pretty. The formula of these are definitely going to be more sheer. You can, though, build them up. So don't think like I can only use them as shimmer toppers. You can most definitely build them up, but I just think they are so pretty. So I'm very happy about this Mothership palette. I know when I reviewed it, I was like, I can definitely see some people not liking this one depending on why they want a Mothership. And I would say the matte shades in this palette are not my favorite. They are a little more dry, but they're not so dry that you can't work with them. I really enjoy this palette, honestly, for these shades right here. Oh, and this one. Basically, the shimmers and metallics are in this palette are just stunning to me. And that's why I love it. That's why I recommend it. Okay, on to a couple others and then I'm done. Like I said, I didn't have a lot because if I'm being honest, I hardly wore makeup in August. It was such a busy month. But when I wore makeup, I kept it so minimal. So when I would wear makeup, I would use, now I do need to shout her out, Danessa Myricks Universal Shade of Balm Powder. Now, y'all know I love balm powder, like, that's nothing new. But the Universal shade, I will say I've been reaching for more than my tinted shades. I have found so many uses for this Universal shade. I just uploaded another Reels and on YouTube and TikTok talking about other ways that I love to use the balm powder. So, number one, I love mixing it with all of my foundations, and that's pretty much how I use this. Unless I'm wearing a foundation for a specific look or a review, I will always mix my foundations with the balm powders. I did a whole video about different ways to use the balm powder, and what I found out with using this and mixing it with my foundations with any finish, not just with dewy foundations, but with any finish, it makes the application of the foundation smoother, it lasts longer on the skin, and it looks prettier on the skin. Like, I do not have a primer on, okay? The only thing I primed my skin with today was the Yummy Glow Serum by Danessa and her beauty oil, because it had been a little bit since I did my skincare before I applied this. So I wanted to make sure my skin was hydrated. And then today I mixed the Yummy foundation and the balm powder. But I have mixed this Universal shade of balm powder with so many other foundations. And it's like no fail, flawless look. Like, pores are nowhere to be found. So that's one of my favorite ways to use it. Another way that I love to use it, which I used it today, was taking Color Fix and applying it on my lids and applying it on my lips. So I'll take the Universal balm powder, apply it onto my lips, and I'll use that sometimes just to prime my lips. Like if my lips feel like, let's say that they're really dry and I need to smooth them over. I've got creases in my lips, all the things. I'll add this onto my lips to just be literally a lip primer, but then I'll mix it with Color Fix, another liquid lipstick, and it gives the finish this powdery, velvety-like finish, and I love it. I did touch up my lipstick. I just applied more of this Color Fix. This is the shade Chocolate onto my lips because I ate. So the finish might look a little different from the clip that you saw, but mixing the Universal shade with Color Fix, another liquid lipstick, gives it such a like velvety, powdery like finish. It is stunning. Lastly, with your eyeshadow, let's say you're using an eyeshadow pigment that dries very quickly, like a color fix. Apply it today. So today on my eyes, I have on Color Fix and Chocolate as my base. And when I first applied it onto the eyes, I was like, oh my goodness. I used a new eye cream today. And the eye cream does not agree with Color Fix at all. So when I was applying Color Fix, it was getting patchy. I was like, shoot. So I was like, let me take this universal shade, take my eyeshadow blender brush, and I buffed out the eyeshadow. And I was like, there we go. One and done. So when Color Fix sets, or any other pigment that you're using, when it sets and you're getting to a point where you're like, I can't blend this anymore because it's already dried, take the balm powder, take it on a blender brush and buff out those edges. You can even do it all over the eye. I'm telling you, works every time to blend out your eyeshadow. I haven't tried it with powder eyeshadow simply because I don't ever get into that situation where the powder eyeshadow is not blending. I'm more so talking about those eyeshadow pigments that you use that might, you know, dry too fast before you're done blending. So yes, like the possibilities are endless. This was definitely something I reached for a ton in August. And sometimes even just to simply apply it into the T-zone because I want to like blur out my pores and be out the door. I mean, you all know how much I love this, and I am gonna always push for it because it's such an amazing product. So that's a definite favorite, but especially the ways that I was just describing to you as to how I've been using it, those are just some of my favorite ways to use the balm powder. And then just to finish letting you know what's on my eyes, I took the Color Fix shade in Ballerina. This is a cream. Chocolate is a matte. And I wanted to, like, I felt like chocolate by itself needed something. It needed a little pizzazz. So I took this shade and I just dabbed it onto the back of my hand and sheared it out and then lightly pressed it onto the eyes so you can see like just that slightest hint of shimmer on the eyes. And then I also added this in the inner corner and the inner portion of the lower lash line. And then the metallic shades on the outer portion of my eye that I did a slight wing with is the Color Fix cream in the shade Iconic. Okay, lastly, there's a lip product that I wore out. I need to buy more shades because this formula, it is, and I've talked about this before, but I wore this out in August. Dries Van Noten, did I say it right? Dries Van Noten lipstick, the shade Punk Vermilion. Y'all, first of all, it's the formula for me, and then it's the shade. This formula is a velvety matte, so if you've ever tried Lisa Eldridge and you understood that formula, Gucci has some velvet mattes. Think along that line of formulation, but like next level. Yes, I said it. This formula is so pretty. It's so comfortable on the lips too, and that I think that's what's so like it makes me keep reaching for it because the formula is so comfortable for it to be a velvety matte formula. Lasts long on my lips, like I'm talking, I will eat and this will still be on my lips. I don't necessarily have to hurry up and retouch because my lipstick looks all funky because I've been eating and drinking. Like this is, the formula is just perfection. I love that you can also pick the case that you want. So they have 4 different types of cases. And so I really liked this case. I felt like it matched as close as possible to like the lipstick shade that I chose. And then a Punk Vermilion. That's the name of this shade. This was such a pick-me-up shade in August. It picked my spirits up every time I put this on. I have worn this so many times with nothing else on my face, just this lipstick color. And I feel like it just brings such a statement. I did a live with Danessa, so she wanted to meet with all of her angels and she got us together on Zoom, not a live, but on Zoom. And so I didn't have time to do my makeup, so all I did was just apply the Yummy Glow Serum and then I put on this lipstick. And I got so many compliments. Everybody's like, oh, you look so pretty. And I'm like, it's the lipstick, because I had nothing else on my face. It is such a beautiful lipstick. So I definitely want to get more shades because they have a ton of shades. They also have different formulations. There's a balm, there's satin formulation, but I definitely want more of the matte formulation because that is what has like won me over on top of just this beautiful shade. So guys, that is it. Like I said, not too much going on here. But the products I've talked to you about have been the ones that I have really been loving and like using over and over again. And I just had to share them with you. So I will link everything down below. Let me know what some of your favorite products were from the month of August. Cannot wait to hear it. And if you've made it to this point in the video and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad. And guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.